Okay, I think we'll get started. Since our Planning and Land Use Committee Chair, Keith Pitts, had to resign, Rosalie Preston, the Vice Chair, will chair the meeting tonight. Keith let me know that he's still looking for a new apartment, and he has hope that possibly he can become part of our neighborhood council again as a community interest stakeholder. So we're kind of holding the chair position open for a while just to see what happens. So Secretary, I call the meeting to order at 6:39 p.m. And if our Secretary, Madge Nixon, could take the roll call.
Yes. Rosalie Preston,
Present.
Madge Nixon, here. Craig Kusunoki,
Present.
RV Powell, Janisha Robinson,
Present.
Micah Silver, Angela Springs, and Luetta Watson.
Present.
Okay.
So is there any general public comment? I only see our stakeholder from District 8, Del Trent. Del, did you have anything particular to say other than just listening in tonight? Okay, she's got her hand up. Let me try to. Okay, you should be able to speak.
Hi, very pleasant. Good evening, everyone. Del Trent here. I just wanted to say, it's a pleasure to be a part of your committee. And I want to thank you all for the awesome job that you all have been doing. And a few requests that I have put in at our April meeting, I am seeing results. I finally got a chance to meet with Officer Tyson this week, and he got some job done for I call her Auntie Shirley, Miss Shirley, and I try to assist Miss Shirley as much as I can. And wonderful job, everyone. It's a pleasure.
Okay, thank you. Samsung SM, are you Angela? I'm trying to unmute.
It's me.
Okay, all right, Angela. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move along to item number 3. Approval of the minutes from our April 25th Planning and Land Use Committee meeting. Did anyone have any corrections or additions?
I move that the minutes are approved as written.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Okay, roll call on the minutes.
Yes. Rosalie Preston,
Yes.
Madge Nixon, yes. Craig Kusunoki,
Yes.
Janisha Robinson,
Yes.
Angela Springs,
Yes.
and Luetta Watson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so item number 4 is the possible comment letter on the Rexford Warehouse Office Building at 14400 South Figueroa Street, which is in the city of LA, and 400 to 422 West Rosecrans Boulevard in the unincorporated LA County, with a recommendation to the board. I've drafted a letter, but I wondered if you wanted me to review a few things. We have the PowerPoint that I could share to point out some of the key issues with the project. So maybe I'll share that, and then we can share the draft letter and see. Let's see. Okay, can everyone see that? Okay.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can see.
Yes.
Okay, so the key thing is I spent a lot of time in the last few days, because at the very end of our April meeting, Rexford mentioned that this project is in the Green Zones District. So I looked that up. I did send out some of the links in our constant contact and to the board. And actually, after reviewing that, a lot of what they're proposing is because they have to propose it because of the green zones issue. So it looks like a couple years ago, the County of Los Angeles adopted green zone districts, and they were to address a lot of the warehousing issues and other problematic manufacturing issues, like with metals and other hazardous materials in various parts of the County of Los Angeles. I think it's a little bit like the cleanup green up that the city of LA adopted, but the city of LA only has really the Wilmington area in that, and maybe one part, maybe Pacoima in the valley. The county has a lot more areas. And one of the things that it does require are the trees. So when they showed us the photo of the new block wall along Rosecrans with the 15 trees, that's a requirement of the green zones. And also that the wall has to be 12 feet high. I think it's 10 to 12 feet. And let's see. So this is the design of of their project, where it's a little confusing, but the top section is Figueroa. So it's, north is going off to the right there. So Figueroa, because that's where all the new landscaping in front of the office part will be. And then they're keeping the whole rest of that former M&K building for the warehouse. Just the little front part will be an office space. And then you see at the bottom, which is towards the east side, there will be the docks on either side. That they said it'll be 31 docks. I think when you count them on this chart, it looks like there's 32, but I think they said they were removing one of those. So, and what doesn't really show up in this photo as much is that this area right here, well, is where the building just to the south is. So that's why they say the truck area will be to the east of that building that's on Figueroa. And then the rest of the trucks will be on the north side of their building closer to Rosecrans. So one of the issues with the green zones is that the problematic uses such as warehousing and trucking and different types of manufacturing, they are supposed to be at least 500 feet from residential uses. And I had our technical advisor, Dr. Tom Williams, check out the distance from the project to some of the homes along Figueroa in our District 3 residential area. And he measured, well, there's a number of them that are, they're less than 300 feet away. So that's one of the reasons why this project has to get a conditional use permit and is not totally by right. If there's another photo that, oh, this one I think shows it. Right, this is that building that's on Figueroa that is going to remain. So the trucking, this front part will be the offices, all this will be the warehouse, and these buildings will be gone. All this will be truck parking, and these buildings are already gone, and the truck parking will be here. So, and then this remains, this is the electronic entry company, and then this is the car wash at the corner of Rosecrans and Figueroa. So from Rexford's standpoint, they feel that the trucking is shielded by these other buildings to keep it away from the residential uses and to protect them. And of course, this is on the east side of Figueroa, so that when the winds blow, generally the pollution blows towards the east. Although occasionally we can have other air patterns. Okay, so now I will stop sharing this one and go to the draft letter. I did find out the name of the county planner and emailed her, but she hasn't responded. I was trying to find out a few more details. They did have a review by LA County Regional Planning on May the 9th already. And but from the planning website, LA County planning website, we can't see what the decision was. They had a previous review that they didn't pass that. So I think that's why they possibly made some adjustments. So I wasn't really even sure who to write the letter to. I mean, this letter is really more to get, our thoughts on the record. We don't have standing with the County of Los Angeles, but perhaps we can express a wish that they would involve the city more when what they do on the county side impacts us. So it would say that we appreciate and support Rexford Industrial's efforts to upgrade the exterior my Zoom thing is in the way here. Oh. To upgrade the exterior of the office space 14400 South Figueroa Street, which is within the boundaries of the city of Los Angeles and the Harbor Gateway Community Plan. It faces onto the industrial corridor along Figueroa Street, which covers both sides of Figueroa Street from 149th Street to El Segundo Boulevard, and the west side of Figueroa Street from 149th Street south to the 91 freeway. The 4 new trees, additional landscaping, and improved facade will definitely upgrade the property. Maybe we should say on the Figueroa Street side, and elevate the appearance of this section of the industrial corridor. The property containing the future warehouse space with 31 truck docks is located in the Rancho Dominguez Victoria Standards District of the unincorporated Los Angeles County area, just to the east of the city of Los Angeles boundary line. Since the creation of the truck storage / warehouse part of the project is under the authority of the Los Angeles County Regional Planning Commission, we can only comment on certain aspects of the project for the record. Our concerns for the truck storage warehouse part of the project in the unincorporated Los Angeles County area include: number one, potential noise impact on residential uses, particularly at night, from trucking-related activities on the southeast side of the property, which is less than 300 feet from homes at Figueroa Street and 146th Street, and less than 400 feet from homes on Denver at 144th Street. 2, although the project reduces the size of the previous buildings on site and previous potential number of daily truck trips, there will still remain an air pollution impact to residential uses, homes on the south side of Rosecrans Avenue between the 110 Harbor Freeway and Figueroa Street from the 96 daily truck trips going to the warehouse and exiting from the warehouse onto the 110 Harbor Freeway. Number 3, potential traffic impacts of trucks leaving the warehouse and turning west over the eastbound lanes of Rosecrans Boulevard. So Rexford did say that they felt there were gaps in the traffic that would accommodate that. There wouldn't be that many trucks. And in one of the online studies that I just found today that is, I don't know how many, possibly 7,000 pages. It's like sort of like a mitigated negative declaration on the environment. They mentioned that in the middle of Rosecrans, there's one of those lanes that's, it has the yellow striping with the gaps so that vehicles can pull into it and turn. So I think they're envisioning that the trucks would come out, turn into that middle section if needed to kind of hold their place until they could get over to the next lane and cross over Figueroa to get back onto the freeway. So any comments, any issues, any rewording? Do we want to do a letter? It has to go to the board. And it would be at the special June 4th board meeting.
This is Lou. I have my hand up. Do you see that?
Yeah, let's see, how do I? Okay, Lou, go ahead.
Okay. I want to thank Madge for these minutes because they are very detailed and they're good. And it brought to our attention a reminder of some of the other things that's wrong with us supporting this project. First of all, one of the things that I have a problem with is what's written on page 2 of our minutes in paragraph 6. It starts off by saying the warehouse will not be air conditioned at the site. To me, that is barbaric, and it harkens back to a sweatshop. This building has not even been built. And for some, I cannot understand why they wouldn't include air conditioning in the building. Nobody builds buildings nowadays without putting air conditioning inside, and there will be people working in there. And even in our homes, we know what happens because if we don't have air conditioning when it's warm. It's stifling. And I cannot imagine us support. I'm asking that we don't support this for one. That is one of the reasons I'm asking that we don't support this. The other thing is that the minutes state in paragraph 3 of our minutes, Micah brought this up about a sound study, and they said, no, they did the minimum. All they did was put up the trees. I mean, they're just doing just the bare minimum of what they could do. And when you said that they failed they were denied before because of some things that they had said or had not done, I can see why. They seem to cut corners and are doing the bare minimum and don't intend to do any more than that. And okay, and then you brought out the fact that it's too close to the homes there, although they did not mention that. So for those reasons, I am asking that we do not, if we send in a letter, that our comment is that we do not support it for those reasons. And I don't know, does anyone else have any thing to say about what I brought to your attention?
So I just want to clarify a couple things. One, the letter as it's currently drafted would really just support the redesign of the facade on Figueroa in front of the office part. The rest is in the LA County, and you know, we could just express our opinions about it is listed. Also,
Okay, go ahead.
also there is no new building, Lou. The existing M&K metal building that extends back from that office space on Figueroa, they're repurposing it for the warehouse. So, and that's why they're not putting air conditioning in, because it's too hard to do. I mean, I think it's too hard and expensive to do a retrofit. We could point that out, however, but because they did say, and I read this about other warehouses, that when they're in the so-called coastal zone, they feel like they don't get hot enough and that they're going to have ceiling fans. But that's something we could add to the letter.
That's what I'm asking.
Mhm.
I'm asking that we, even though you're supporting whatever that is within number one, I'm asking that we include our concerns and that we are not supporting the fact that they're not doing these things. We need to point those out. I don't want it to look like we're supporting whatever. We need to include those things that I've mentioned here about the distance and about the non-air conditioning.
Okay, and the sound and the closeness to
All
the road.
they didn't even bother, like I said, they did the mere bare minimum. So we need to mention that as well.
And I was thinking of concluding just a final sentence that, you know, ideally the site would have been repurposed for some other kind of quality type industrial purpose rather than trucking, you know, because that's what we've been proposing for the whole of the Figueroa corridor.
Correct.
Okay, so Madge, did you have
Yes,
comments?
I just wanted to chime in and thank you, Lou, for the shout out on the notes. And I completely agree with a lot of your points, Lou, in terms of the bare minimum on the studies, specifically around the sound and the distance to residential. I'd like to just add, you know, the trucking or overall traffic. I don't really recall them doing extensive traffic studies other than saying, oh, it won't be an issue, it won't be on Figueroa. And I don't think that's sufficient of an answer or study on the impact there. I think those are my main comments, but I agree in terms of the opposition based on those points.
Okay, and I'll just wanted to clarify that,
It's in my hand raised, ain't it?
yeah, hold on a minute, Angela. So they did mention, but it's, you know, it's hard to catch everything that they say in a presentation. But it's emphasized in this longer study that I think they're adding all the previous uses, you know, the 3 other properties on Rosecrans, which we don't really know now how many truck spaces they had, but because they're demolishing so many buildings and have already demolished a number of them, what they're maintaining is that the previous amount of truck trips a day was double what the proposed new use will be. So that's how they kind of cover that the traffic issue will be very minimal. And of course, they point out, just like Prologis did in their study, that because the entrance to the freeway on and off ramps is so close, those, I'm trying to remember the official term, the vehicle miles traveled is very minimal, you know, which is not an accurate way really of measuring it. Angela, did you have a comment?
Oh, I just wanted to say that I do agree with each and every one that had comment on the building. It seems like one thing that Lou said was that it seemed like they just happened just to like give you so much that they want you to hear than actually what really would take place. So I do agree to those concerns to be added into the letter as well.
Okay.
And also it's in the residential area. You got to think about that too, as far as the neighbors, because you will get the complaint of the, you know, the sounds and the trucks and different things like that. the
Well,
concern was,
the neighbors are on Figueroa, on the other side of Figueroa, and their truck route is only on Rosecrans. Is what
yeah,
they
yeah,
saying,
that's what they say.
yeah, but it's the issue of the trucks moving and unloading on site and it is a 24-hour operation. Now, they mentioned that there was some aspect that the county prohibits after a certain hour, I think unloading maybe. So
Mhm.
So that would lessen the amount of sound, but I was trying to find what hour that is. That was one of the reasons I wanted to talk with the planner, but maybe
Right. And
be,
that's a concern too that need to be issued out. So
what's that?
about the hours. You saying about the hours.
It's 24 hours for everything, 24/7, except for, I believe it was unloading, but still theoretically trucks could come in
Right.
and park and wait until after whatever
Mhm.
hours
Right.
are. Yeah, there's still some movement going on.
Right. Mhm. That's a concern.
Okay, anything else? Otherwise, is there a motion to make the recommendations with the additional issues, and the next draft will be sent out to the committee just before before the June 4th board meeting, just for any final tweaks?
This is Lou, my hands up.
Okay, Lou.
Okay, I move that we write the comment letter, but we definitely include our concerns and make sure it is clear that we are not approving everything that they said.
Right, it would only be,
Just that first paragraph,
yeah, just the office facade part is, we can support that, but
but nothing else. And we
I
need,
second Lou's motion.
okay, all right.
and
Okay, yes,
I'm sorry.
what, Lou?
I just wanted to know, when can we see this proposed letter before it goes to the board?
Yeah, it'll be next week. I'm gonna try to get a hold of someone in LA County Planning to learn the hour after which the unloading can't take place. And there might be one other question to get answered that, then those details can get into the letter.
But
So probably early next week.
Rosalie, we don't care, they've already stated it's 24/7.
Well, except for, but we want to just verify that. I was trying to, and also I want to understand a little more about what being in the green zone means in relation to warehousing and trucking. So,
That's admirable, but however, we should mention that a 24/7 operation, no matter where they're loading and unloading, is too close, and it will impact those residents that are within 400, 300 feet. No matter what, they're gonna hear it. And it's gonna be going on all night and all day. So we need to, no matter what it says, but we need to say that we object to the 24/7 operation because it is too close to those homes.
okay. Okay, Madge, could we do a roll call on the draft letter?
Yes. Rosalie Preston,
Yes.
Madge Nixon, yes. Craig Kusunoki,
Yes.
Janisha Robinson,
Yes.
Angela Springs,
Yes.
and Louetta Watson.
Yes.
Okay, so on the next item, this is something that I think a lot of us had gotten emails about it, the landscape and site design ordinance. We got another email just the other day. I can't remember now when it's gonna be before the city, but so I don't know if we have time to really weigh in on it. But anyway, I just wanted to make everyone aware of it because it applies to residences, commercial and industrial. And it's trying to improve the exterior design of buildings and make also, encourage more attractive sidewalks, streetscapes, etc. So let me see if I can find that.
This was something in our email, Rosalie?
You may not have gotten it yet.
Okay.
But I'll try to forward what the board were all sent copies, and I'll forward out to the whole committee. Let's see, where is? Let's see. And there's this point system that goes with it, which is kind of like when builders of apartments put low-income units in, they get more points.
I think I did get this, Rosalie. You included this with the agenda and minutes.
Right, but I still want to send out the email because I think it has, when the hearings will be and whether we make comment as a group, individuals can still always make comment. Oh, this one is not as easy to scroll through as the other one. So they have some nice illustrations. We always get excited, that this is how things could really look. So the new design standards are supposed to be more objective, which I guess means a little more detailed. And then there's a point-based system that allows for design flexibility and administrative review. It will address walkability, health in the built environment, and climate adapted design. So there's citywide design guidelines, healthy buildings, healthy places, equity and climate action. So the new guidelines will meet the objectives for the housing element, the plan for a healthy LA, sustainability plan, and other city council motions that have been passed. So it will apply to residential or mixed use of 5 units or more. So unfortunately, it's not single family homes or duplexes, but non-residential buildings, industrial or hybrid industrial, and any parking area construction or reconfiguration. Won't apply to historic cultural monuments. When people apply, once this is adopted, when developers apply for permits, they will be given a menu and they have to choose so many that's included in their project. Yeah, the 360-degree design, that was interesting. I think that means that the impact on all sides of a project have to be considered. So in pedestrian first design, there should be direct access from a sidewalk, I guess, rather than a driveway. On public space linkages, there's a new tree requirement that the ground floor should be active, which means kind of part of the streetscape. And consideration for the building sidewalk interaction. So that's a whole issue of the driveways and the 360-degree design, so that you're designing in context with the other existing buildings. And also in our area, this would apply the freeway adjacency, because we're getting a lot of new apartments built right next to the freeways. And protecting sensitive uses such as existing lower story residential. With the vehicle parking, if certain floors are dedicated to parking in a bigger building, or there's a separate building for a structure for parking, that there would be screening standards and safe places to drop off passengers. Climate adapted design. So would incorporate energy efficiency, solar, double pane, at least double pane windows, and the way the building is heated and cooled. Green architectural elements. And on-site amenities, we've already seen a couple of the solar impact apartments that are going to have rooftop gardens and other patio gardens. So projects would need to have at least 3 for residents and 1 for non-residents that non-residents could access. And there's something they explained about privately owned public spaces. I think that's when, like if there's a courtyard from the sidewalk that theoretically the public could also use, but that the building owner would maintain. Those significant trees would have to be conserved. And if not, if that's not possible, then there's a ratio for the tree replacement. And more of the ground has to be covered and shaded by the trees. Requirements for landscape management, the minimum amount of soil, because a lot of times when they're building these rooftop gardens, they have planters for trees, and it's really hard for a tree to survive very long in a planter unless it's really, really deep. And there's the required use of a lot of high percentage of native plants in the planting areas. So under health-related standards, and some of this is overlap, but lots of street trees, areas so that people can walk and maybe do other types of physical activities. Okay, so explaining the point system, I guess for every project, there would be 100 total available points in 9 different categories. And you have to choose 27 points, have to come from 3 from each of those 9 categories, plus 8 from health-related strategies, and 15 points for industrial or surface parking. So then they went into some details about how the point system works, how they review that. The projects would get preliminary approval, and then they would only get final verification after there's a certificate of completion presented, a covenant and agreement that would, I guess, include the maintenance, although there's a landscape management plan, and tree planting in lieu fee payment. Outdoor amenity, which are either like interior patios or rooftop patios. So the outdoor amenity areas will be excluded from the floor area and height calculations, which means, so that's like to encourage their creation, because then the developers can still have buildings that fill out the available space and are tall. These are some of the ideas that could be used. Be a definition of the outdoor amenity area, development standards, and that's to help LA building and safety. A lot of us find that they're a little bit problematic when they review things. and alternative ways for projects that cannot comply with these guidelines. So the ground, if the outdoor amenity area is on the ground floor, the, yeah, they want some openings. Okay, so we're already in spring. This is I don't know if we're in the initial draft. I think we're in the initial draft, but so I think they're a little behind schedule. So this will, soon there will be the second draft, and then it would go to the City Planning Commission and adoption by this fall. So I'll send out the email because it has links to the webinars and more details, the point system. So we should, at least as individuals, try to edit a little more carefully and make some comments. Okay. So any comments on that? Angela, did you?
No, I don't have any comments. I'm
Okay,
just, yeah, I just have to, I don't remember it being emailed to me, but if it have, I'll review it.
yeah, I think it was only emailed to the board or people who are on the planning department list,
Okay.
so, yeah. So I'll send it out to the whole committee. And Arby is here now, so,
Hi, evening. Sorry I'm late, everybody.
okay, Arby. So we will move on to the reports. On the opening of the Weingart Willows, I did check with them again earlier this week, and their opening date is still supposed to be in July, though it doesn't look like that much has happened. Some exciting news on the oil well front. I've been reading that the U.S. Department of the Interior has sent major funds to various states, including California, that they can use to plug and remediate so-called orphan or abandoned oil wells. So I think that at our June 4th board meeting, we'll have a letter that will ask our council member to be sure to ask for some of that money to come to the city of LA specifically for our abandoned wells in the north part of District 4 and at least some of the ones in District 5, although they have so many. And maybe even some of the ones along Figueroa by the businesses. One of the interesting things I read in the report on the Rexford Industrial Project is that there used to be 2 oil wells on the site that have been closed up supposedly, but you know, there were still some concerns whether they were leaking methane gases. Status of the Arco gas station. I finally managed to talk with Nancy Koskos this afternoon, and the reason why nothing's happened, they were supposed to get a report by March from the LA Department of Water and Power. They have there's a switch that has to be installed. A switch, she called it a switch gear that would go into the electrical or equipment cabinet that would run the whole electrical system for the station. And they're just waiting for LADWP to let them know the exact type they have to buy to install. And they've been waiting since March. So that's what's holding everything up. So I'll try to email our LADWP liaison who helped us with one of the issues in District 8 and see, and also Nicholas Chavez, our field deputy, and see if they can't get them to send that information. She also said that because building and safety still hasn't finalized approval of the way they redid the car wash, they decided they're just not going to have it open when the rest of the gas station opens. And then they'll, you know, finish working on that afterwards. They're planning on land use. Lou, I thought of something, but anyway, Lou, did you have any other
Yes,
issues?
I'd like to encourage our neighborhood council to write its own letter to DWP and to Building and Safety, inquiring about this instead of just taking this developer's word for all of this stuff. This has been going on forever. And we're only hearing what they're telling us. The failure is on the other side. But I am beginning to question that. Are they really doing what they're supposed to do? Or are they not doing everything? And because they haven't done everything, the project is being held up by the departments. I request that our neighborhood council write a letter to the Department of Water and Power and to Building and Safety on its own and making its own inquiry. This has been too prolonged. It just doesn't make sense.
Right. Part of it is the understaffing in both building and safety and water and power, I think. But because Nicholas Chavez did write, he did email, it's probably been more, maybe 6 weeks ago, that he'd talked to someone and that was getting something to them. But so it's more a matter of having the DWP liaison and Nicholas pushing DWP to get them that information and see if that does it. Because previously when we talked to people in building and safety, then they finally got some answers and they could move forward. It's a lot of it's been waiting for the answers to come to them. But yes, it has taken an extraordinarily long time, I think over 3 years now. So were there any Any other planning and land use issues? Something came up I was thinking we should mention, but oh, I'm thinking that next time, oh yeah, now I remember the two things. Well, one is that we should write another letter to get our council member to do interim controls on the duplexes. I mean, they have slowed down, but still. That was something that the Department of City Planning recommended about 6 years ago to get some more restrictions on the duplexes, you know, fewer numbers of bedrooms and bathrooms, and so they wouldn't be turned into boarding houses. And now they, you know, one of them is putting ADUs on the property as well as a duplex, so. But the other issue that came up at the last minute, we got an email from Michael Sagian, who's the co-founder and consultant for the Biz Shop on behalf of WM Scan Inc. And they're the owners of the other retail cannabis that's located at 11500 South Vermont. So they wanted to, they have an application. They were already approved by the state of California. And now under the Department of City Planning's new method, or Department of Cannabis Regulation new method, apparently they're supposed to present to the neighborhood council, which he was going to try to get someone to speak under public comment tonight, but that didn't happen. So I don't know if they'll show up at a board meeting or our next Planning and Land Use Committee meeting in June, but I don't know what the timeline is for this, so we'll see if we can find out. So anything else?
Yes,
Lou?
you said 12500 block of Vermont? That's-
115.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's the building just north of the 105 freeway.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I misheard
Yeah,
you.
okay. And we do know some stakeholders near there, so we'll try to get their opinion.
Well, that's right next to a residential area. I wonder, do they have any daycares or anything over there, or boarding cares?
Yeah, because I thought under the Department of Cannabis regulation that you had to be more than 500 or 700 feet from residential. I have to look at the amount, but
Their house is right next door.
well, there's a parking lot on the back side on the east side, and then there's houses, so they're obviously way less than 500 or 700 feet, so
Mm.
so the state gave them that permission, but then City of Los Angeles has the final approval, so we'll try to find out more about.
I wonder, is Nicholas aware of it, or the person that
It's
handles the business?
It's in Council District 8, so we need to
Oh.
be in touch with Laura Garcia.
Mm. Mm. And that's Dawson.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll call the meeting adjourned at 7:43 PM.
I'm sorry. Okay, I need a favor. Does anyone know how to get in contact with Will Yates? I sent him an email this morning at the email address that's on our website. And I'm not sure if he looks at those emails that come in with that official email address.
Okay, I'll get you some other information.
Thank
Oh, and yeah, just one other thing. Did everyone who's not a board member get the email I sent about all committee members now must read and sign acknowledgement of reading the new code of conduct? Did everyone get that?
Yes,
So-
I got it.
Yes.
The
Okay.
handout? Are you talking
So-
about the handout?
Yeah, board members have to do it through a cornerstone, but committee
Oh.
members can just read and sign, and then they have to scan or somehow get it back to us, because we have to form a list that, and it has to be done by June the 6th, or you cannot participate in a committee again until that's taken care of. So we want to make sure that everyone does that. Okay, thanks a lot. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank
Night.
you.
Night.